you there. Ah, now I can see everything in. Okay, now we can go back to public.
Okay.
And now we can
we
talk
were
about
private.
Stuff.
All right.
Everything good. Can you all
we
hear us?
Should we restart the
No, it'll throw everyone off. We can just say ignore the first X number of minutes. We just sucked. We just don't know how to. We just don't know what the fuck we're doing.
The first 28 minutes and 32 seconds. Were crap.
We were crap because we completely. I screwed everything up. Now where have you gone? You're here. I'm gonna make you a little bit smaller.
I'm a bit warbled.
Yep. Okay. Now can everyone hear us fine? A bit warbled, yeah. That could be God only knows what's going on there.
He's good. Okay,
yep.
Thank you.
I'm using a mic. You're using a small mic, and plus he's going through Skype. I'm going direct, so that's why he's going to sound warbled. Yeah. Okay, well, we're good. We can talk about headphones now.
Do we have to? I mean, let's talk about headphones. Yes.
Yes, we can talk about headphones. So, where were we going to start? How about Tokyo? Tokyo was. What was your favorite thing at Tokyo? Oh, were you introducing yourself? You should introduce yourself again. I think let's introduce you before. Before we start. Everyone knows who I am. Nobody knows who you are. So.
Well, I am whoever. Wait, I guess you're pointing at me. So I am Nathan. I run the website called ohmimage.net, and I am shigzeo at HeadFi. So I've been at HeadFi for about 14 years. I've got the ban hammer a couple of times from Big A here, or Big Kura.
I didn't ever ban you.
Not ban. Yeah. Wait, you silenced me once from a stream. It was awesome.
Did I throw you off a thread? I've thrown people off threads. That's just normal. It's because you get on forums, right? Someone will get all incensed about something someone says, and then you'll go, guys, shut it, it doesn't matter. And then you go back and you think everything's calm, and then the next morning you come back and there's like 5 pages of crap. So you just silent. You just mute everyone from threads until they calm down.
I don't remember what it was, but it was a good memory for me. Anyway, and I have now, as you can, in the chat, if I say, well, check this, I'm going to type something in the chat. I'm going to say, I am typing in the chat. That's me. I have a channel called Fotaku Lounge with 189 subscribers.
I like how you say. How do you say your site again? I said Ohm Image. You have a nicer way of saying it.
It's Ohm Image.
Image, with a French touch.
I have no idea if it's French or not. It's just Image.
It just sounds more sophisticated.
It's not sophisticated, trust me. Well, you know that.
But this sounds like we used to have, we used to buy all our clothes from Target. In Australia, Target is probably a bit different from US Target, but it's much the same thing. It's a rip-off of the American Target. It's not the same company. And we used to call it Target because it sounded more sophisticated. Where did you get your T-shirt? It's from Target because it sounds way more sophisticated saying, I bought it from Target. Actually, they made good clothes though. I have clothes from Target, which they had a big deal in Australia about how carefully they bought got their stuff, and I have stuff that's lasted like 20 years, 30 years easily. It's pretty crazy. Anyway.
By the way, this is now the Target stream. We're not going to talk about headphones. We're not going to talk about cameras and all that stuff. We're talking about Target clothes.
Target clothes. Actually, I'm going to talk about my free UE T-shirt. That's actually relevant. This is actually relevant to the discussion because I have pretty new headphones. Yeah, beware. We are. For those watching, we are incredibly random with what we talk about. I mean, we will talk about anything. And if you feed Nathan some nice whiskey or put funny things in front of them, which you can use as a moustache, you will get everything. So I can hold stuff. I like Sony. They autofocus. We have ultimate ears.
I can't see a thing.
The thing is, you can't see a thing. You have to guess what they are. You can't see me.
They're ultimate ears.
Yeah, they're custom ears.
No, I'm divining it here. They're ultimate ears. They're custom earphones. They're clear shells with a white faceplate.
Not white. I've got wood faceplates.
Wait. Let me. I'm thinking it's more natural. Something maybe grainy. Wood. I'm getting wood here. Wood faceplates. Yes. And they have more than one speaker. I got it right.
Yeah, you got it. They have. This is the first UE I've known, which actually has a which has a dynamic driver inside. Can you still go to guess?
Wait, just a
minute. Nobody has posted about them anywhere that I've seen. They've been because they're not super shiny. Nobody has talked about them anywhere. I found like one person who uploaded some video. I think it's uploaded some video where they did like the text to speech thing, because obviously they're not an English native speaker, and everyone, that's about it. They're so underreported it's not funny, but they're like super duper big deal. You still want to guess what they are? You could cheat and go to the website.
I'll tell you this. What I can see most of anything is actually your armpit hair, because the camera's like right stuffed in there. It's nice.
Thank you very much. Don't stop me. I'll start talking about something to do with armpits, which is very funny. But anyway, we're not talking about armpits. We're talking about things you stick in your ear, not things you stick in your armpit.
Not going to guess. It's an earphone. It's got wood on the front, which I divined, as I said. And it's got more than one speaker. And it's from Ultimate Ears.
Yep.
I think I nailed it.
So they're called the UE Live. Very sophisticated name. And
is that the one where you use an application to test your your custom?
They're completely new. They have, what's the count of drivers? Was it 1, 2? I forget. I've lost count of the drivers. They have. Let's see if I can hold up to the camera. You can actually see which one can you see best. Maybe the right one. Good old Sony. And I don't know. People. So what's going to happen is someone on a live stream with lower quality is not going to be seeing anything.
Why are you using so many different cameras here? What am I looking at the moment?
You're looking through a Sony. It's a Sony RX10. No. What's happening is you're not seeing. You're on the webcam because of the stupid screw up with Skype. So you got to look carefully here.
Hey, that's the earphone that I just divined.
Yeah, that's the earphone you just divined. So for those who are confused, I have this camera is going. Nathan sees from here. Everyone else sees from here. Just to be really confusing, because Skype is because if I start fiddling around with Windows, things just vanish, and OBX is a pain in the butt. Now, the interesting thing about them, I'll give Nathan a view first. Do you notice anything different about your normal UE custom, other than the fact that wood?
I would say, let me just divine this here. I would divine that has a special, unique connector that might be IP8 certified for waterproofness.
No, actually, it's this cable is. Why my brain does not work? It's that super strong. What's that super strong cable that you can't break?
I think that's called razor wire.
No, not razor wire. I've gone blank on it, which is really stupid.
Lynch.
Yeah, the German cable. What's the German?
Oh, the German cable.
The
Kyber crystal.
No. They make unbreakable headphone cables. Linem Estron. It's Linem.
They're Danish.
Danish. Sorry, not German. They're going to shoot me for that. I get countries mixed. I don't know anything about. This is how ignorant I am about Europe. I don't know anything. So the connectors are the ones.
Basically, the Germans of Scandinavia, anyway.
Yep. We're going to be in big trouble now. These are the funky connectors I'll show if you can see on the webcam thing. The funky connectors they recommend for earphones, which I've forgotten what they're called, but they look like they're coaxial. They're kind of coaxial design. There's not much you can see here. It's too small, probably even for the high speed stream.
Waterproof.
Yeah, well, I suppose they're waterproof. Yeah, they're waterproof as well, and they click in nicely and. Well, they're super strong. I don't, but they line them. When I talked to them, said. Way back when I talked about the connectors, said all the IEM connectors are rubbish. They should use these connectors, which are much better. Blah blah blah. I don't remember what their pitch was, and I haven't looked into it yet. But I should actually call them up and talk to them about it. But they use the Linem Bax cable, which has got a funky splitter on here, which actually can be. I should show you the funky splitter as well, since you're on Skype. It's a funky splitter where you can lock it in place somehow.
I feel like Johnson.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's a funky splitter.
We have a funky splitter. We should make a song about funky splitters. No, it has not Teflon. What's the stuff inside? Kevlar. It has Kevlar reinforcing, so you can actually pull on it very hard and you won't break it. So it's essentially much better for live performance. It's designed for live performance, obviously, but it's better than the reference remaster because it has a crap load of drivers, including a dynamic. I think it had one true tone driver, and it's got like 4 mid-high drivers, mid and high driver sets, and then mid-range. I'm not quite sure what the mid-range is, if that's the dynamic or not. Then it's got low-range drivers, about 3 low-range drivers. But anyway, it has a crap load of drivers, and it all goes down to one single tube. So you can see that on their site. They have it on the site. A good picture. You can see it. I've got the clear version, so obviously you can see through it, and so I can take funky pictures. And so that's their latest monitor. And they contacted me. Actually, funnily enough, I was doing the Ultimate Reference Remaster, which I was really, really lazy about getting around to. And they said, "Oh, do you want to know about our new IEMs?" And I said, "Sure." And they said, "Just I'll send you over a pair," because I have the scans already done electronically. So all I have to do is just they give me a code and I place an order and I get these, which is cool. And I get to review them, which is really fascinating. So they're interesting. They're kind of a bit warmer sounding than usual, so they're not as bright. They're still more on the tuning side of the Ultimate Reference Remastered, which is a bit dark for me. But I mean, if you're turning the volume up, you don't want a piercing treble anyway and destroying your hearing. So they're obviously designed for live performers. And what did they come with? Oh, they have a Bluetooth thing too, which is floating around here somewhere. It's probably hanging off the charger, which it is. They have a Bluetooth adapter, which is the weirdest one I've ever seen. They have a Bluetooth adapter which has a battery pack. So obviously you can get multiple battery packs, but is it switched on? Probably is. So it's a little Bluetooth adapter where, I'll hold it where Nathan can see it as well. You pull these, if you want to make it shorter, you pull the cable, and you want to make it longer, you pull them this way. And it's just got this chunky battery pack, which is in the wrong place because it ends up sitting behind your ear.
Amos,
yes.
You are totally distracted. We have a question from La Luz.
We do?
Extinguido X.
I'm wearing mystery headphones, yeah. I put them on deliberately so people would ask about them. They are, these are 3D printed, so it's a Sony replacement headband, which you can get cheaply, or rip-off of Sony replacement headbands from China. And the drivers are from a guy called, who has a company called Symphones. And anyway, it's an interesting story. So, do I have the other pair sitting over here? Yes. So this guy was obsessed with Grado, I suppose, and like super obsessed, way back. And he wanted to, like, Grado made these high-end headphones because of HP 1000s and HP 2s, and he wanted to reproduce these. So he ended up researching everything he could possibly about them, and ended up making his own Grado drivers. And what he'd do originally, and this is original, you cannot get this anymore. He would, so this is a pair of MS2, actually yes, Alessandro MS2s, and with some wooden inserts that some guy kindly made me, a guy called Flea's Baby on Headfi. And what he'd do, probably if I take this off, is he'd take, he made his own gimbals and everything, and yoke and everything, and he'd make this aluminium insert and that you put the drivers in with, you know, with screws and everything, like the old HP2. It basically reproduced the entire thing, and they sound fantastic. And he's upgraded the drivers so many times. He's got the latest version is, I can't remember what version of driver is up to. It's like 7 or 8 or 9 or something. I can't remember.
This is not. Is this Turbulent Labs?
No, not Turbulent. No, they make a competing one now.
Okay.
And then so you cannot get the insert. He put the inserts in and everything for you. Send over his headphones and do that. And so I have 2 pairs, and you cannot get them anymore. So what he does now is he recommends this. There's a Shapeways, which, you know, if you have a 3D printing design, you can get your own stuff made through Shapeways. You just order it and they print it on the spot and mail it to you. So this is a 3D printed pair, and using the driver, and it is very cheap to make. You can make them for under $200 or whatever. I think the drivers are about $100 now. I forget. They go up and down. They go for $90 at the moment. They go up between 60 and $120 depending on I don't know what. And
take a screenshot.
So
Okay.
funny man. And so you can get the drivers for, if you can solder, you might buy a cable of your choice. You can do, or make one. You get the, I forget what these cost now. I haven't looked in ages. And then plus the drivers, $90. So it ends up being, I think, under $200, depending on how much shipping costs, depending on what cable you use. And you can make, a really pretty kick-ass pair of headphones, and they're pretty good. I mean, they're the original Symphones Magnum's mod. Once you sent in your own headphones, was $700? Anyway, they were pretty. They were up there. I mean, now you've got all these cheaper planers, which are kind of taking away that market. But they were up there back then, and so they're pretty good for $200. I think I'd rather spend $200 on these than $200 on just about any other $200 headphones. So I still have them, and they're still pretty good.
Hey, the face check works on the screen. That's pretty cool.
It does?
Yeah. I was listening, by the way.
You were listening?
Yeah. So So those are like
What are you wearing? Are those Audio-Technicas?
These are Audio-Technica ES10s that I modified myself to really crinkle when I move my head. It goes inside it. It makes me remember that I'm wearing headphones. And these have the sheepskin pads from the ESW 11 or whatever it is.
Oh, 11? No, 9.
No, not the 9. The 9 have much smaller drivers and they don't fit the ES10s. The ES10s share the same size driver as the ESW11 or whatever it's called, the limited edition.
Okay, I have the ESW9 Limited, which is sitting way over behind me. I don't know if you can see it.
These ones end up...
Just... Where are we? There. Okay.
These ones end up being... They're supposed to be on-ear, but my ears are kind of small, so they end up being circumaural barely. They're really damn good. Hey, hello, Arze boy. Nice to meet you, Arze boy. There's a new guy who said
yes. Probably we picked the time of day where like everyone's asleep in the US, and we've got people from other random countries coming in. So my time.
I'm also from a random country, just like you.
Yep, we're all very random. So, have you got any fancy headphones or other gear?
Yeah. Here, let me unplug the ES10s and do an unboxing. You've probably already unboxed these of the Stax Blue from Deconi.
There's a Stax Blue? Yeah, why not? What's
so?
Stax
Yeah,
Blue?
so Deconi do this. What to say? Deconi do their own tuning of the Stax TR, whatever these famous ones, the TR whatever.
50?
Yeah, the new one, the Mark IIIs.
Yep.
And they send their spec to Stax, and Stax make it in their factory.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, so I picked this up over at CanJam, the United States one, the SoCal one.
Yep.
And I'm going to unbox this thing. This is going to be super professional unboxing. So I just flipped the top. Hey, check that out.
Yep.
There's not even a dummy tab. You just pull it out. It's nice. And then is this kind of like a really long question here for you, Laluz? And then I pull this out here, and this is some sort of marketing language here. Oh no, it says Stax. It's in Japanese here, and in German here, and probably in.
Full size.
I am full size. I've been full size since I was 17. I beg your pardon. I have now pulled out the headphone, and it's in this here. I've not opened these yet, by the way. So check this out, man. This is totally unboxing for you, for your channel. This is one of these step-down adapters from 6.3 to 3.5. You are so excited about this, Amos. I can tell. This is cool, man. This is so exciting. Because the first time I'm on your channel and I am like unboxing a headphone that you didn't hear about, and everyone that's watching on your channel is like, damn man, it's awesome to have Shigzeo here, man. He's just like totally ripping this up.
I'm just going to make faces in the corner. I'm up in the corner of Shigzeo's window, so I'm just going to make faces at him to distract him. Go on.
The new Mark III has a detachable cable, so this is a cable here, and isn't that cool? And here is the blue TR50P Mark III. Deconi, it's got this like, what do you call this?
It's like a sound wave. I wonder what it's a sound wave from. It'd be interesting to know, did they say what sound wave it's from, or is it like one of those trade secrets?
Yeah, it's Deconi. It says Deconi. That's, if you were to record Deconi right now, that's what it would look like.
Oh, cool.
I have no idea.
I guess it might, maybe.
But check that out. It says blue on the inside there, and on the top it says Deconi. Yeah, can you see that right?
Yeah. We're good. You're across pretty much my whole screen now.
And it comes with an extra set of pads here. Yeah, these guys are really cool. This one here has these ones, I don't know if this is real lambskin or whatever, sheepskin, or if this is some sort of pleather, but inside it's got a velour here, and on the inside it has a perforated pleather or leather, and this is velour, and then this is leather on this side, and then this one's, it's velour on the inside, on the outside, and the top here. And so it comes with these extra pads and with these headphones. And this is what they look like when they're worn properly. Something's not right. Just a moment. Something's not right. They're really tight on the head. Really like. When I tried these at CanJam, it wasn't such a clamping force, but there's really a clamping force now, and it's still creaking. It actually creaks a lot like my ES10s do. Audio. Wait a second. Yeah. Okay. I found the problem. I've still got my ES10s on. Just a moment. Let me try this. That was a little embarrassing. I'm going to now put on the cable, detachable cable. Don't worry, hey, there's not going to be any more mistakes here. No more mistakes. Don't worry, Amos. I am like, oh yeah, oh, hey, they're comfy. The actual headphones are comfy. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, oh, I gotta bump up my my volume a little bit here because there we are. Say something, Amos.
I'm just typing prank stuff on it. You'll see it afterwards. I'm just putting your name on here, so people are going to come in and go like, "Who is this guy? This isn't Amos. This is." So yes, this is Nathan. For those who not familiar, shigzeo from Headphonia, Headfi, various places. Ohm Image.
And my channel is Fotaku Lounge. It's check that out. It's like, you know how you've heard the word otaku, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's like kind of a nerd. Well, I'm not a real nerd. I am a faux nerd. So get this, it's Fotaku. I laughed like 24 hours when I came up with that name, and then my wife she was like this. So I thought it was clever, at least. But anyway, Fotaku Lounge, man. If you want to subscribe, please.
Yep.
I'm not pan. Hey, they're comfy, by the way. Super comfy. I've now got my Daconis on, and I'm listening to Amos, and he sounds better than he does through the ES10s. Yeah.
Good. Good. And I'm using my
I heard
headphones.
the Mobius. Yeah. Boy, I heard the Mobius. Yeah.
I might switch to the webcam because I'm facing forward and there's a pane facing sideways. So I've got to work out how to switch to the webcam. I know how.
Oh, guys, this is going to be another sort of travesty.
Now you're in front of my face. Hold on.
I am in front of your face. It's been like that. These are big headphones, eh?
I'll put you in the corner.
I not go in the corner. I've done nothing wrong.
Stick him in the corner. That's right.
Hey, Laluz, what do you think? Do you think they look? I have kind of a narrow head, but it's an L size. But what do you think? They look good? I mean, do they look? Am I wearing them right? I kind of like to wear them in the back of my head. Anyway, Arzeboy, yes, I heard the Mobius. That's the new 3D one, I think, right?
Yep.
For gaming, is it?
New 3D
yeah,
one.
I heard that. And wireless. I heard it wireless, and it was pretty damn cool. I sat there for about 20 minutes. They had a, you probably know this already. They had like a big screen here, and they would do movies, and then they would do a game. Like, you wouldn't actually be able to play the game, but they had a demo with a movie, and a demo with a game, 2 games, sorry. And you would sit there, and while the movie's playing, you would like look this way, and then look this way, and then look look that way, and then the sound would kind of adjust based on how you were kind of placing your head. And I think even there was a proximity sensor as well, possibly. But yeah, it was pretty cool. And actually, I was by the end of the demo, I was thinking I might want to put out a bit of extra money for that. Although I'm not a gamer. I'm a faux gamer. I talk about gaming. I'm not a gamer. But they were cool, yeah. Pretty cool headphones.
I thought it'd be cool to watch movies, actually. In the, like, I ordered a pair, like, I heard about it, like, and as soon as it came up, I just went out and ordered a pair in the first batch. And I thought it'd be cool, actually, because occasionally I like to watch movies, and I can't watch them, kind of, we don't have a big time, we don't have any kind of fancy system in front of the TV, and I don't want to, the kind of movies I watch, I don't want to show my kids anyway, so I actually ordered a pair, so occasionally I want to watch a movie, I can watch it actually at my computer and get the full effect. Because I did, years ago, I heard Sony have these cool surround sound headphones which do give you the full surround sound experience, and they're wireless and everything, and they got demoed, Sony demoed them to me at Sony headquarters, which was pretty cool, and for a few of us actually, but they were so cool, I thought that'd be a good idea. And you see, Mr. Funny Man is taking screenshots for those who
I want to remember this for posterity, so I forgot to put on the flash. No, please keep talking. I'm listening.
So I'm back to the webcam. But I ordered a pair, so I thought that'd be a cool thing to own. the problem is with these things, you got about like 10 minutes to decide, should I order this, shouldn't I? Actually, I probably shouldn't order anything. If anything, I should be selling stuff. But at that time, I thought that'd be too cool. And anyway, it's probably easier than it was that and or hassle Odyssey for a review pair, which is kind of same difference anyway. But I thought they're probably going to be a good standard pair of kind of wireless headphones. Actually, speaking of wireless headphones, I was looking at a question someone asked on Headfi, and they were asking, should I buy a shit audio stack, you know, Magni, Modi, and then a pair of ATH M50s from AudioTechnica? And it's like, my thought was, no, actually don't do it. The thing is, Bluetooth noise cancelling headphones are so good nowadays. If you have $350 to spend on a system, I just buy a pair of noise cancelling headphones because they're so good. I mean, you don't have to worry about, is the USB going to be compatible? Are the drivers going to fuck up on my computer? Are the, you know, I'm going to have a bunch of wires and crap sticking around. They're not portable really, because then I can't use my system when I'm on the go unless you have like it carried like a lead acid battery, that kind of thing. You may as well just honestly buy like a pair of Sony or whomever, Sennheiser or whomever, noise cancelling headphones nowadays, rather than like an O2 ODAC or the shit stack or what else is out there. Actually, it's probably not too bad in that regard for portability. Another thing I have in here, which I've got to unplug because it's plugged into everything at the moment. I have a Q5 in for review.
That's an amplifier?
Yeah, it's a Bluetooth, everything in the kitchen sink, but it uses the amp modules from the X7's Mark II as well. So
that's also DAP, or is that just an amp?
No, it's just an amp. It's just a DAC amp. So you can plug in USB. You can plug in Bluetooth, or you can plug in coaxial line input or what have you. So
no, just keep talking.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm just gonna switch around to where people can see this better, because my Sony focus is better. Apart from the fact I'm getting super jittery. I don't know if you guys are getting. I'm getting interlacing jitter on my thing, but I don't know if you guys are. So Nathan's just gonna do phallic stuff with his camera lenses and whatever while I talk about this. It's cheap and it does everything in the kitchen thing. Was it like $400? I forget, $400. And
Amos, what happened to Oppo? Did something happen to Oppo?
Oppo, yes, they gave up making audio gear because it's just not a sustainable market. And which is a pity, because everyone who, like the 2-channel guys who like using them as a source, or one of the companies, like there are a few people who modded them with tube mods and stuff like that, made some really good gear. But they've kind of given up doing audio stuff and are sticking with making mobile phones. So they have a limited stock of their gear, so you kind of everyone's rushing to buy them before they disappear entirely. Nathan and his lenses again. Oh, this is good. What? We're supposed to be talking about headphones, not lenses. You're just going to hold it.
I'm not talking. I'm just sitting here showing off
fiddling.
Stuff.
You're just fiddling. That's what you're doing.
I love to fiddle. Oh, if you like to fiddle, you have to like Leica, because they make the best stuff to fiddle with. There's no comparison.
So you just sit there all day, just playing with the switches on you. Oh
God. Yeah. How can I explain it? Like, even a camera we're totally talking about headphones, don't we? Even a camera like the SL, which is it's like just a regular mirrorless camera. It's made so damn well, and this what is this called? The focus ring feels like you're operating a high-end Canon or Nikon rather than one of the like crappy Fujifilm. This is like Fujifilm, like high-end 8/16 to 55 lens. It feels like a plastic toy that you got with your Nikon D200 18 to 70 millimeter from 2005. Piece of shigzeo, but it really good optics inside, but horrible quality.
Yeah, there's a guy at the show who was using the 16 to 55, and I thought of getting that as well. I still have the T. I don't know why I still have the XT1, but I still have it. I mean, I meant to sell this off ages ago.
XT1. Oh yeah, I had that a couple of years ago. Yes. You
told me I'd hate it, and yes, I did end up hating it. So with the firmware updates, it wasn't too bad, but I'm the grip now with the additional grip, it's nice. But I want a camera this size, which does what the Nikon does. Nikon.
It's not the. What to say? It's not the image quality. It's not the autofocus. It's just like the fact that with a Fujifilm, we're still talking about headphones. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about this. We're still talking about headphones. The problem with the Fujifilm is, look at that. It looks like you're supposed to be able to change all your shutter speeds here. It's bullshit. Sorry. Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry.
I'm swearing too, so whatever.
Okay, you can't. Because this thing goes up to 1 over 32,000, and you can't get to it with this dial here. And you can't get slower than 1/2 a second. And if you want to go in between stops to say like 150, you can't do that.
You have to press a separate button to do it.
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to do that. And if you want to access all of them, you have to go to T mode. They're like, it's the simplest camera to use because all the controls are external. They are not external. The only control that works properly is this one, and only on the camera that has it. Every other one, like aperture, maybe they have it, maybe they don't. Anyway, I could go on forever why I dislike Fujifilm, although I use them professionally. So, whatever. Leica, which is okay. We're getting back to headphones. Just a moment. Let me detach this.
It's like I'm the same kind of idiot. I have a Sony camera, I have a Nikon camera, and I have Fujifilm cameras. And then I go to each, and it's like, okay, now I've got to remember how to use this. The Sony, actually, I don't mind too much, but I'm going to ditch the Fuji. That's all going.
Fuji sucks. So check this out. On the single, this is the shutter speed dial.
Yep.
It operates. You can go all the way down from how many minutes can you go to? Sorry, it's going to take a little while.
That's a lot of different speeds.
Okay, 30 minutes. From 30 minutes all the way to...
A 6400? 6400
no.
or something? No, more.
1 over 1600. Okay. 16,000. 16,000. On the same dial. And you go down from third stops, everything on the same dial. It's none of this bullshit where you go back and forth from several different controls. The aperture, same thing.
What if you're in a hurry to switch up to like from 1 second up to like a thousandth of a second? I mean, doesn't that take a while?
Well, let's try.
It doesn't look like you're in a hurry. Like at least with the Fuji, if you're in a hurry, you can dial it in really fast.
Only full stops. The only thing you can do with Fujifilm is fastest full stop. So there's 1 second. Let's go to 1,000. Yeah.
No, not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, like if you're like grabbing your camera, you got to shoot something in a hurry, kind of thing, and all your settings are wrong because you just set it for something completely different.
But if you're going from 1 second to 1,000 of a second, that's not the only setting you're gonna have to change. So there's no way that those 4 seconds are gonna matter to you at all.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Hey, I got something custom here. This headphone that may or may not be interesting to your 15 people that are watching right now. That's a lot. Damn.
You got something cool. I'll make you bigger. Ready? Zing.
Make me bigger.
I made you bigger.
Ooh, I feel it. All right. So you may or may not know about Flare Audio. Of course, they are UK-based brand. They make. They're famous for what are they called? Ear plugs, etc.
Yep.
Very nice ones. They have got something like 1.4 million likes on Facebook, which is, I think, rather insane. This is a Bluetooth DAC.
Yep.
Into which I've plugged a Grado GR8. I chopped off the cable and plugged it and got the MMCX installation for the GR8. The GR8 is one of my favorite earphones. GR8E, sorry. This is the one that came out about 3 years ago. So now I've got a wireless GR8E. And balanced, because this DAC is balanced.
Nice.
So, and it's wireless. Wireless. Freaking... Oh, sorry, I keep bouncing. Wireless, balanced DAC. The problem is the GR8E is sensitive. And, of course, this is a Bluetooth, and most Bluetooths have a bit of noise. The Flare Audio, the Flare Pros and the Flare Gold are insensitive. So if you plug them into your iPhone, you're going to have to bump up the volume a couple of steps. But it also means that for slightly noisy sources like this one, you don't hear hiss at all. And it's just brilliant with the Flare's earphones. With the GR8,
is that one of those ones which has aptX HD and all that Bluetooth thing?
That's a good question.
I have a reason for asking. So I reviewed the Blue Wave Get, which is in the car at the moment, so I can't flash it in front of the screen. And it's it's like $129 or something like that, and it has a clip, and it has aptX HD, which seems like massive overkill. But I mean, the aptX, it's fine. But the sound quality is very good. And there was another one which seemed to have exactly the same specs, but it has balanced output from another company, and I can't remember what it is. It's on Headfire, and it's got an ongoing thread. And so it seems there's some really cool OEM, really good OEM Bluetooth, high-res Bluetooth chipset out there which people are putting into products. So I was wondering if that's the same one. So obviously, this is back to my rant where I think people should not buy cheap, like cheap audio stacks and crappy headphones, but actually should just buy Bluetooth gear now. If they're spending under $400 or something like that, it's just may as well get Bluetooth stuff, or $350 and under.
Well, indeed, yeah. I mean, any of these, a good Bluetooth DAC will sound just as good out of this player from a cheap player as from an expensive one, as long as they do the same wireless, as long as they have the same wireless protocol. And so, yeah, if it's a good DAC, and this one's not cheap. The Flares Pro goes for like $450, the earphone and the DAC.
Yep.
And the Gold, of course, is a lot more money, but very good sound. And this thing connected, I've had it connected up to 40 meters line of sight.
Nice.
Stable.
But yeah, they're good enough now. There was someone compared the Blue Wave to so they tested them against the AK DAPs. Now, given they probably didn't test them with really fantastic music, but he said, oh, why would I spend thousands of dollars on a DAP when I just use this Bluetooth thing? It's just pretty much as good.
Exactly.
Yeah, and someone asked, someone had a question, I think. Shanling, waiting for Shanling to update the MO. Well, I don't know, are Sony licensing the LDAC protocol? If they're licensing it, well, I mean, everyone would like to do that, but I mean, it depends how much they're licensing it for. So, to answer your question, it's not just updating, it's a matter of, if it's not an open source codec, or like a codec where you don't have to pay a license fee, the license fee could be huge. So if it's a small company, they might just say, oh no, sorry, yeah, I mean, they're just not going to be able to afford, $100,000 or whatever they charge. Who knows? I mean, some of the licensing fee stuff I've seen has been horrendous. But if they're a big company, they might be able to do it. So Apple might be able to do it, for example, although they're probably unlikely to because they have AAC. But, a small, waiting for X company to upgrade their stuff, well, it's not so simple as them just doing it and putting in some software. There's a whole lot of other stuff they have to deal with, and Sony are probably a pain in the butt to deal with, and probably want to make tons of money off their LDAC protocol if they end up licensing it out to people. So that's something to consider. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name, I'll just call you Mr. X because it's the last thing in your name. That's just something worth considering. While Nathan dangles Grados in front of the screen. Do you have anything else?
These are not Grados.
What were they?
These are. I've interacted with you like 17 times now. This is 18. Number 18 interruption here. No, these are the Flares Pro, the original Flares Pro that come with this DAC.
Okay. I'm just glancing around my desk for stuff to interrupt you with. You can
these
go
are
on.
Great earphones. Listen, we shouldn't turn this thing into a Mammon stream here. Now it seems like we're just like two complete gearheads, and all we do is like buy stuff up and pollute the earth. The actual truth is that's true.
This is the point where I show off shiny cables. Okay, and we just piss everyone off. So, do I have anything I can dangle in front of the screen? I do, actually. So it means I have to do musical cameras again.
Hey, what? I don't have a lens on this one.
No, that looks like an old camera, though. The click even sounds old, even through my system. Check
this out. Okay, so when the Leica SL, the digital one, came out, people are like, idiots are like, it looks like a Sony. No, you idiot. The design cues, the flat front here with the plate, and the basic design came straight from the Leica SL, the original Leica SL, which is this film camera here. Also, when this SL here, this bad boy here, yeah, the shutter speed dial,
yep,
you can select, if you turn it slightly between the 2000, say, and the 1000, it'll select geometrically the shutter speed in between those two. It's incredible. Leica. It's a freaking Leica, man. All right.
I don't have I don't have like $1 million to buy Leica gear. I'd like to, but no. I'm just gonna have to stick with Nikon as things go. For anyone who's just joined us, this is where are we? I'm this direction. He's this direction now. Nathan. This is Nathan, who likes cameras and audio gear.
Well, I need to like cameras. I shoot. That's my job. So, RZ boy, yes, I have tried the Hasselblad. It's amazing. Unfortunately, the interface is slow. I don't mean like the when you interact with the screen, but like EVF is a little more choppy than the GFX, which I have here, and it's just a little bit slow. I think what they need is a faster processor, because otherwise that thing is incredible. Best grip I've ever held. It is solid as a Leica, and the battery sticks in just like a Leica. Have you seen this? Oh my God, check this out. Check this bad boy out. Battery. It's not like a little chintzy thing that you flip out. It's like that. You pull this lever and the battery pops down like that. So watch.
It's like a gun magazine.
That's a battery. And then, yeah. Oh my God. And the Hasselblad, it's just like that. It's so solid. And the weather sealing is here on the battery itself. It's so solid. You can do it with gloves. Oh my God, it's just such a good design. Such a good design.
We're gonna have to start getting you talking about knobs later, and then we'll be really going nuts. So, yes, Mr. Knob Feel guy. Okay, I'm shrinking you. You're shrinking. I'm going to point to stuff here. So this is I shot 3 times. Shot this silly review of this, a preview actually, because it's just come out, which is the IFI Pro IDSD. And I shot it 3 times because I had noise twice. The microphone screwed up again, which is a real irritation. Once with an annoying buzz, and once with just tons of noise. Which I need to get a proper microphone still. But anyhow, this is. We should do some zoom in. Can we just zoom? Is it going to let me without breaking anything? I have to be careful here because the HDMI connector is kind of dodgy, but. And I'm looking at my computer screen to work out what I'm seeing here. So I have the two Pro devices here now, the Pro IDSD and the Pro ICANN. Actually, the Pro IDSD is very, very good. This is really cool. Now I'm zoomed in. Maybe you can see it if I zoom in some more. It's almost in the center of the screen. If I can move this till it's in the center, we can zoom in some more. I'm not going to fiddle around with it too much because otherwise I'll end up breaking the connection. But I'll have to bring the thing closer. But if you watch the volume knob, now that the camera should have focused well, when I switch it on, it flashes a little red thing here to say it's switching on. And in a second, if we watch the volume control, come on, it didn't do it. The volume control would jump up to the previous setting. I must have turned it off, but it would jump up to the previous setting. So if I had it up here, it would jump up to the previous setting. But it has lots of filters, digital filters, and other crazy stuff in here. Which oh, there we go. It's gone up. It's got a micro SD card in the back, and I was reading the card. Anyway, now you can barely see it yet. It goes meow up there. When you switch it off, it goes meow, and then switches off, so you don't get a pop in your speakers or whatever. Which is really good because this actually I had the Ultimate ears in, and it's not in the preview yet, but actually I could pick up some noise. I think maybe it has wireless input, it has network input, it'll play off a micro SD card. It's kind of crazy overkill features, but there's a tiny bit of IEMs to pick up a tiny bit of noise from all those electronics, unfortunately. And I've had weird noises in there, and I actually had the actual aerial for the wireless is here. I unplugged it, and then the issues disappeared. Some of the issues disappeared. So there's obviously not quite perfect as it should be, but it has a thing, solid state, tube mode, tube plus mode, 3 gain levels, a 2.5mm socket for reasons I'm not quite sure, considering the gain levels that are possible.
On a home.
Yeah, I mean it will do IEMs. It'll use the Susvaras can be powered through this too. For some odd reason, this is in the preview too. I have a Moon Audio cable with a 2.5mm socket for the Susvaras, which is kind of very bizarre because they're not easily powered by stuff that's portable. But anyway, they're going to have a Pentacon version, 4.4mm version at some point too. But it's a very kick-ass thing, and it kind of gives, with an amp in the chain, it gives the Hugo 2 a run for its money. So it's kind of getting to that kind of resolution. I think the Hugo 2 is still a bit more resolving, but we're cutting it pretty fine, especially if we start running through other amps and what have you. But that is the fancy thing. I'm going to put up a preview video soon. I've just got to shoot a little bit more of it, and then there's going to be a preview video coming up and other stuff too. I've got like 2 or 3 things which need to be completed, then I can stick them up. So that's what's happening. So who else is there? 20 people. For those who are not already familiar, I'm talking via Skype to Nathan, who's in this corner. My webcam is in this corner. My Sony is in front because I look prettier through the Sony. I have DIY headphones on, and Nathan is Nathan. He's got some Dectoni custom Fostex, which is interesting. Yes. And so we're actually due for questions. What kind of headphones are those? So you'd have to jump back, but what they are, so it's a Sony headband, and they are 3D printed shells from Symfhones. Symfhones, you go through Shapeways, you order these, and then there are custom drivers which look like Grado drivers, but they're made by Symfhones, which are much higher quality. Well, they originally was intending to reproduce the old HP 1000 kind of series of headphones. And reproduce that kind of driver, but it's more like the PS1. They're kind of more bassy now. The original ones were very flat, and now we're up to like something close to the 10th version of these drivers, and I have like the 7th version or something still. And you can actually DIY some pretty kick-ass headphones for $200 once you get all the parts, if you can solder, that is. Or just persuade someone to solder. It only takes like 5 minutes of soldering anyway, and it's kind of more fiddly, you know, threading wire through the headphones and stuff than actually soldering it. So these are pretty cool. I was talking earlier, I had some original Symfhones Magnums, which have aluminium cups and everything. They're pretty fancy. And but you can't get them anymore. But these are pretty cool if you want to DIY some headphones for $200, which are pretty kick-ass. They're of course open headphones, so they're only usable at home. But I mean, because I'm using a Sony headband, I can fold them. And I've got them on because this is the only way I can hear Nathan, who, if you missed the first 30 minutes of me completely screwing up the audio routing, I could hear him, but nobody else could hear him, or everyone else could hear him, but not me. So we just spent the 30 minutes of the video at the end. I'm going to have to trim off because it's just screwing stuff up. Anyway, that's what's happening here. Questions. Does anyone have questions? Does the HEK V2 sound better do better than the HEX V2? Yes, you should be able to drive it with fairly cheap stuff easily. It's more, yeah, it kind of sounds more, I suppose, it's a bit less resolving, but a bit more impactful. But it's still a fairly neutral sounding pair of headphones, so there's a question I can answer now. I'm going to do a separate stream of question and answers, but feel free to ask questions now. So you can ask Nathan about camera stuff, or ask us about audio stuff we've heard, because we were at the Tokyo show recently, and we've been kind of playing around with different stuff. So, am I going to review the new Soundaware P1? Yes, that's why it's sitting here. It's very good. It's very, very smooth. It's very resolving. It's a really lovely amp, but that's very, very good. The only thing I keep doing is it's got the input selector here, so every time I try and adjust the volume knob, sometimes my finger bumps the input selector and it switches, which is kind of irritating, but otherwise it's very good.
Does my breath smell better now?
I can't smell anything.
I just had a mint.
Maybe it does. Did I hear the Stax S S? Yes. Did you see my Tokyo review, my Tokyo preview video? It's in that. So it sounds, yeah, they sound more like, imagine you pull everything tighter. So it sounds more dynamic, more upfront, more like actually those Audio-Technica ADX5000s that were just released. Like a Stax, like they're pretty similar. I actually want to get both of them side by side. They remind me of each other. So yes, the 009S. I'm in a kind of queue for reviewing them, because what happens is Stax have like a limited number, or just a single set they send out to each of the audio press, and because Japan press gets priority, they get sent out, and then it has to be put in a queue, and they go, we can have them from this time to this time. I go, fantastic. And then I can finish the review of this thing, which is got a Stax output. So that's where we are at now.
We are here.
We are here. So we run out of stuff to. We've run out of stuff to talk about. That's nonsense. We never run out of stuff to talk about. We have we end up going for 2. We're gonna flatten now. I got to check if my battery's gonna flatten. I've still got half a battery. That's all right. You haven't flattened it yet. But what'll happen? I expected that I was going to talk, and then suddenly my thing will go poop, and then I'll be gone. And I have to switch back to the webcam. So we're due for. I shot the Stax SR00. Yes, you're typing. Yes.
That's me.
That's you.
I didn't get a chance to listen to them because they sent the amplifier, but sorry, it wasn't for review. It was for the magazine shoot.
Yep.
And they sent the amplifier and their new stuff, and it was really cool looking, and it was really nice to handle. I didn't put it on my head because I was a little scared, but I did get to shoot it, and that was really cool. But that's not really helpful, is that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was
Tile's retirement. You heard about Tile's retirement, didn't you?
Yeah, that's rough, man.
Well, maybe he got sick of...
Well, I mean, it's not... He deserves it.
Yeah,
well
I mean,
deserved.
he deserves to relax and enjoy himself. So, I mean, I was just saying in my previous live stream that just off out of view here, but I have the original Headroom speaker stands, which were just a really kick-ass idea. I think, I mean, he was way ahead of his time with everything. But, you know, I guess, yeah, it's kind of mixed feelings because he was he's extremely knowledgeable. But I guess it was maybe, got some impression it was, you know, I mean, he's always a guy who was obviously under a lot of pressure in various directions. So I guess and, you know, having his hearing not been going so well, it's kind of putting under more stress. So I guess it was the right time for him, which is kind of sad because he has so much knowledge and, and, you know, awesome ideas about stuff. But, you know, I guess, well, I mean, everyone has their time when they just have to move out of the hobby. And I've seen a lot of guys go, actually, a lot of blogs, which started up years and years and years ago, could be huge now, but they're not huge anymore. The guys just went, I've had enough of this, and boop, gone.
I totally understand that.
So you have a question.
And
why are you called Shigzeo?
Ah, yes. So there's a name in Japanese called shigeo, evidently. I've never heard of it. It's an old name. And I was chatting with someone back in like 1999, a girl back in Canada. And she said that she liked this name called Shigeo, and I was like, and I reminded her of I looked like a Shigeo, I guess so, and I was like, okay. And when I went on to Headfi, I think, or maybe it was, I think it was Headfi was the first place I used it. I wanted to put in Shigeo, but then I thought it might be nice to have a Z in there somewhere, so I put Shig, and I put Zeo. I put like a Z in there. And then it just balanced out right because I'm not Japanese. What I am is, I'm not a wannabe Japanese. I'm not a faux Japanese or anything like that. But I like the sound of shigzeo, and then it's become. There's not so many people ask me the question like they do about Kura Wong. Like I've always wondered about Kura Wong. I thought he was like a what is a Kura Wong?
Well, okay, so that's my story. So when I started on online chat, and there was no like web chat or forums or anything. This was back in 1994. What happened was that someone told me that if you opened up a terminal, install the terminal. This is before they locked down computers in universities. Can you imagine? Those of you who have been through college or are in college, imagine you go to your college and then nothing is locked down in the computer labs. Nothing. Think about this. This is the glory of the early 90s. They just install computers there, and you could download anything. I mean, there's nothing to download. I mean, but someone, of course, they put up a file sharing repository, like there was software you could install. One of them was a terminal app because old Mac OS didn't have terminal. And then you could, if you use this thing called Telnet, you type Telnet and then this address and this port, you could log into this thing called a multi-user Dungeons and Dragons, and then someone made one just for chat. So all you do is just chat to people. And then, so we just chatted. I was told how to get to that, and I'm chatting to university students from like America and Canada, and I think it was just about all the people online were from America. Or was there anyone in Canada? No, it was just the US mostly, US and England, and they'd run these things illegitimately on the network. This was back when, like even the bandwidth from a text chat server was like a big deal to a university. This is like my university at one point. After 5 p.m., you could not view images online. They actually filtered put everything through, for those of you who are technical, a squid server, and then they blocked all images, which was just JPEG and GIF. But so this is back when bandwidth was a big deal, and so what name am I going to use? And I thought Z, and Z is pretty unoriginal. So I've got to think of an original name, something that's unique. So I have a whole lot of, because I'm Australian, they have a whole lot of native birds which are not anywhere else. And one of them was called a magpie. And I thought, I don't like that so much. I'll try the Currawong, sounds cool. So I just used that. And I used that ever since. And it's such an original name. And everyone, of course, thought I was Chinese because they have no idea about Australian wildlife. And then, of course, I come online, everyone goes, wait, you're not Chinese. So it's like, well, yeah. No, I'm not. And that's the long and exciting story of how I came up with my name. So I'm just reading the question. I'm reading the. If I'm wondering why I'm staring at the screen, it's because I'm reading the chat, which is at the bottom here. I thought it was interesting that Tile picked Bose QuietComfort headphones for his retirement. Well, I mean, he's got to drive this. He's picked an ex-UPS van to modify, and they're loud. So I thought that was a bit crazy. I mean, he's going to get really tired driving around for ages. But I guess he's going to drive for a while and then just get to park somewhere and then just sit and enjoy. So you can ask any question. I mean, we just chat super randomly about stuff. What are your thoughts on the LCDX, especially in the more recent models? I only have an original LCDX, like one of the first batch. So like before they were even released. So I have no idea. I have to actually get my drivers, send them back, get the drivers updated, and then review them or something like that. But I don't know what's going to happen with that. I've got to talk to them. I've been so slack about talking to Odyssey. Like, I've been to the factory and everything. I even have pictures from the factory. I'm considering selling my CA Andromeda IMs to buy a pair of Focal Clears instead. If you don't need portability, yeah, get full-sized headphones. That's just without question. Yeah, that's obvious. Yeah. So if that's... Yeah, if you don't need portability, I mean, yeah, get full-sized headphones. I've been listening again to these really pretty kick-ass Ultimate Ears live, who, for those of you who joined late, which are $2,000 custom IEMs. And they've got, multi-driver and everything like that. But, I mean, easily, they're just exceeded by, full-sized headphones. Make Nathan's picture bigger. Nathan, they want to see your pretty face. Okay, I'll move over here, and then Nathan can be bigger. This is just my webcam. I'll just stick this in the corner, so you can see that why I'm steering forward. So now he's bigger. You can see his eyes. There we go. How's that? What else was I going to talk about? I forgot. We were talking about Odyssey. I still haven't heard, other than a prototype of the iSign series, which is really terrible. Actually, someone made the point when I was talking about Bluetooth headphones before. I said, don't buy any cheap systems like O2 ODAC or Shitstack. I just honestly buy Bluetooth headphones nowadays, or like those little Bluetooth things like the Blue Wave Get that I reviewed, which are only this tiny, but they're as good as, some people think they're as good as a high-end DAP, more or less. I suppose it comes down to music, but someone was saying that they're just like a pair of the signs and the little inline amp. That's pretty good too. So I mean, like, why would you buy like a stack of components and have them on your desk and deal with USB issues and that way? The Bluetooth stuff is just as good. Do I know anything about the ECP audio? I thought, ECP, those guys have a really good reputation, and I really like to try their stuff, but they just made stuff in batches and then stopped making them. No, there's not much, because they don't make, they'd make some and then stop. And then a few people were lucky to get hold of them, and then that was it, which is kind of sad. But they have a DIY amp, so probably if you DIY the Torpedo, and then just that'd be your answer. I mean, I thought, like, I would love to have reviewed some of their stuff. Their amps were supposedly really kick-ass, and I did briefly audition one when I was in the US. Yeah, that's just, unless they start making amps again. I haven't even checked, then that's going to be it. What headphone do you use when you're just relaxing?
Correct.
What do you use when you're relaxing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Because you missed a question.
I missed what question?
Yep. You need to go up to La Luz Estinguido X.
I do.
It's before the Andromeda question.
The Dark Knight Rises, I don't watch. You can ask. You're a movie guy. I don't watch movies.
I'm not a movie guy. I'm totally not a movie guy. I'm a full movie guy. I'm Fotaku everything. But
your turn.
I liked Dark Knight Rises. It's actually the only Batman movie that I've. This is a little bit. I don't want to admit this. Okay, I watched the movie Inside Head or Inside Out last night, and I cried. And Batman, I've watched all the Batmans, and the only Batman movie I've ever cried at was Dark Knight Rises. Because right at the end, both my wife and I were like, "Oh, did he just die?" And I actually would have preferred if he would have died, but of course he just went off into the. Now I didn't care about Vane so much. Just a big guy with vacuum cleaner hoses stuck to him, and he's got "It's just Bane's not happy" or whatever. He sounds cool, I guess, but it wasn't a very inspiring bad guy. I didn't like maybe the plot sort of what is that word, tension so much of it, but yeah, it was a great movie. I think every Batman movie with a what is it called? Christian Bale is good. On to you, Amos, wherever you are.
Yes. I was watching this thing. It says live stream live. Okay. No, I was watching the stream health thing while it's just showing pretty colors.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah, it says bad video settings. Okay. Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. What?
Make sure no one sees my armpit hair. So I'm just going to kind of hold
my
arm.
So the buffering is kind of gone
teacher notice.
Funky on me. Everyone see it? Do we look okay? Because I just don't have this streaming.
I don't. I never look okay. But that's why I'm covering up my. One of the reasons I'm cutting up my. I'm holding my hand up, waiting for teacher to call on me.
Okay.
Teacher's not calling on me.
Okay. Now I'm watching my other thing to see that we're looking okay.
Teacher.
Yep.
Check that. This is an impression of armpit hair waving in the wind. Teacher, are you going to call on me?
Ha 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 ha.
No, seriously,
I'm going to have to make you smaller if you start showing armpit hair. It might be against
Amos,
YouTube. Modern YouTube terms of service. Armpit hair might just not cut it. It might flag my video as being inappropriate.
Marcus likes my armpit. So Marcus, Thank you very much. I've worked on it.
Okay.
I work on it every morning about 8 minutes per. Amos, I have a question.
Go for it.
Should we? Okay. So the question is, when people ask questions, people in the chat, when they ask questions, should we be discussing it? Or should it just be the person that knows anything about it?
Well, you know about movies and I don't. So if they ask about movies, you can talk about movies. I don't know crap about movies. I don't watch them. I watch some things, not much.
What I mean is so our next question is, does balance make an actual sound? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Ted Timmis asked about the questions, like, what do you guys use? Should we be, hey, Amos, whoa, what do you like? And you're like, hey, Nathan, what do you like? And then we're kind of like, oh, why do you like that? And then we're like, blah, 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 you know?
I don't.
Back and forth.
I'd say just answer whatever we want to answer. Whatever we want to answer. I mean, I can answer the balance thing. What do you think of the balanced and unbalanced? Do you have any opinion?
I do have an opinion. Did you want to do that, or do you want to do the just relaxing one?
No, I was going to ask you about the relaxing one. When I'm relaxing,
oh, relaxing.
Yeah.
Wait, chillaxing or relaxing?
Relaxing listening.
So relaxing listen. Wait, does that mean like
my
we're
answer's
listening?
Quick. I have speakers because having stuff in my head for a while can get tiring. Like these, I probably shouldn't be using for monitor because I'm getting tired already.
I would agree. This is we're kind of losing the headphone trail here. But yeah, if I'm relaxing, I don't want to listen with headphones on. There's a couple of headphones that I find that are mildly comfortable over, say, 2 or 3 hours of relaxing. But even the ones that are comfortable, I find the top of my head gets a little bit sore. And also, if you want to get up, you want to do anything, even move your head, you always have to be cognizant of something is on your head. And so I have a very hard time relaxing with headphones. And it's going to sound weird for me to say, but I actually will sometimes relax with IEMs because you can still move around without as much intrusion on your body. Although, of course, then you block sound to your ear holes, etc. So yeah, I'm a speaker man as well when I'm relaxing. Not a good answer, perhaps, if you're asking for headphones, but
yeah. Just if I like what I'm reviewing, I'll probably just use what I'm reviewing. So at the moment, I'm we're switching Sasaras between fancy toys here, so that's just easy to relax and listen with because I enjoy listening with them. Someone was asking about, will the Focal Clear outperform the Andromeda and SQ? Well, I think full-size headphones will always outperform IEMs, but I mean, in that, when you have some tiny speakers right in your ear, you might pick up some micro sounds, but the problem with the Andromeda is that they pick up hiss anyway, so probably, I don't know, I haven't got the Clear. Everyone has been asking me, can you review the Clears? And yes, I'm going to contact Focal about getting a pair of Clears in for review, then I can talk about that. So that's probably make more sense. But I mean, if you have a choice between if you don't need portability, get full-sized headphones. That's kind of obvious. Does balance make an improvement in comparison to unbalanced? I've answered that a million times before, but I will again. Okay, Nathan, I'm going to make you smaller. I've got bad news for you. Once I've found where you are, you're here, and I'm going to shrink you. There we go. Sorry, you're going to be tiny. You can sit in the other corner too. I'm putting you in a corner. I'm putting Nathan in a corner. Okay. So now I can hopefully see what I'm doing here. Okay, this is the Studio 6, which is not a balanced amp. This is a Solaris, which has balanced outputs, but is not a balanced amp. These things are completely internally balanced. This is completely internally balanced from memory. So is this. Okay, so if I use the balanced outputs, they're going to, of the Master 9, it is going to sound better than using the single-ended output because it is designed as a balanced amp. It is designed to be used this way. If I use the single-ended outputs of the Pro ICANN, it's going to not sound as good as the balanced output because it is designed as a balanced amp. If it doesn't matter with the Studio 6 because you've only got one choice. It sounds as good. I mean, it doesn't sound any worse than these amps. Actually, it's a bit more resolving than the Solaris, I think. I don't know how much tube select. Of course, you can roll tubes in this. You can't roll tubes in that. So, I mean, it's a simpler design than this. This has got a lot of stuff in it. It has nothing to do with it being balanced or unbalanced. It's a simpler design, and it's probably got a shorter circuit for the audio path and what have you. And it's just sound, depending on the headphones I use, probably Utopias. To me, it sounds there's more resolution. The P1, I haven't played with the single-ended much yet. That's going to come up. But it's, again, if you use something as it's supposed to be designed, you'll get maximum resolution. And the R2R7, which was sitting here before and is now out for photography, is balanced internally. And if you plug in single-ended, output to single-ended, half the analog circuit is not being used. So the design is being compromised very slightly. Not really audibly, but at least to my ears, is not audibly, significantly audibly enough. Maybe probably you measure some dB or two difference. Same with the portable DAPs, such as I have floating around here, an AK380. This is designed, it's a balanced circuit. It's designed to be used with the balanced output primarily, but to me it sounds just as good as using the single-ended outputs. But I mean, of course, you're very slightly compromising the design by using the single-ended output. So it's not because you don't look at a product, oh, this product's balanced, it must be better. No, it doesn't work like that. It's you use the thing to its optimum. So if I'm using this is not optimum for the Susvaras, for example. It's only got 1 watt of power output. You can use it with the Susvaras because it's got high voltage output. It'll swing enough volts that if you're not listening too loud, like you're not listening loud, it will not clip, and it will be fine with the Susvaras and sound really detailed. But if you want to turn the volume up and get a lot, which is bad for your hearing, obviously, then it will clip. So it's not optimum for the Susvaras. But with the Utopias, it is very optimum because the Utopias don't require much driving power. So it's a matter of using a device in its optimum configuration for what you're doing. So nothing to do with balanced or unbalanced. If you're going to buy balanced gear, you obviously want to use headphones which have a balanced connector and keep the whole thing optimum. If you're not, don't. That's my whole thing on balanced. Nathan, any thoughts? I'll make you big again. You can give your thoughts.
I'm big. So I have also one. I would agree basically with everything you said. There's a couple of maybe provisos there. There's some earphones, not headphones necessarily. When you have like a dynamic driver, or even planars and what are the other ones? Electrostatics. The polarity isn't a problem, but it depends on the drivers that you're using. Say if you have like balance armatures, there can be polarity issues with balance. So it really depends on how the earphone is wired, because some drivers they have very specific ways to use them. But basically, I would agree with Amos on every front. This is another one of those players. This is a Sony ZX300, and this was designed to also, and the big one, the more expensive gold one, is also the same. Its internal circuitry is designed, is actually balanced, and the single-ended output is just basically take that circuitry and then put it down into a single-ended, and you can both measure and hear the differences, and they're big between the two. It sounds much better. Maybe not much better, but it's definitely better in balanced. And so that's basically, if the thing is designed for balance and it's suddenly truncated down to single-ended, then that's probably going to have some sort of detrimental effect on the output. But otherwise, yeah, I find that a very good single-ended output is any bit as good as a good balanced. But that's your mileage may vary.
Excellent. So you're here. I can hear you, but you've disappeared. What's going on?
I have not disappeared.
It
Trust me.
works.
I'm still
Okay,
here.
now I worked out what's going on. What happened is my camera battery ran out, and I just frantically changed it. So your timing for going away was actually really good. Now everyone can see the god-awful mess on my desk. I should just zoom that out. Okay, so we're back. Okay, we should all be back. You should be back, I think, too.
I'm back. I've been back.
Excellent.
Came back last night.
Very
I
good.
drove my wife's car. It was awesome. It's totally better than my car.
My wife's car is crappier than my car, so I would drive my own car. I sometimes drive her car, but it's like a little K-box car. Oh, I'm going to accelerate. Boom! Nothing happens. That's my wife's car. It just makes noise. It doesn't go fast.
My wife has a VW Up.
Oh, nice.
It's a little bit larger than a K car. And my car is a K car bread box. Delivery, you know, exactly like
the
Japan Post have?
Yep.
Except mine's not red, mine's silver. That thing is so high torque that I can't even use first gear. I put it in first gear, and immediately once I press the accelerator, then I have to jam it down into second because I think about 5 kilometers an hour, I can't use first gear anymore. It's like,
yep, that's what they do. That's what they like. Mine actually my wife's has a continuous transmission. I think it's actually got 2 gearboxes, like one with 2 gears and then another one with a continuous transmission because it seems to have a switchover point. But it has really great torque. Like if you keep it in the torque band, it actually accelerates reasonably well. But if you try and floor it, it just makes a lot of noise and doesn't accelerate. So it's like you put it in power, like the non-eco mode, it's just pointless. It's just, yeah. Japanese K cars are less economical. Like a 1.3 is more economical than a K because of the torque. So there's no point in buying a K car now. But there's still this, because you don't have to pay the registration or whatever for 3 years, people still buy them, which is nuts.
And the tax is less per year. Or, sorry,
yes,
insurance.
The tax. Even though it's just the engine size, but a 1.3 is actually more economical, which is nuts.
My wife's is, I think, like 900 cc's, and mine is 686 or 666. Probably 666. And now, of course, mine is a bread box, but yeah, hers gets around town 18 kilometers per liter, and mine gets 15. And on express, mine gets around tops 20, and hers gets 23, 24.
I think I could scratch 19 on my old K, which had gears. I don't know about hers. I haven't tried. It doesn't have a measure, a thing to measure it. But the hybrids just like kick their ass completely. The hybrids are just like
Diesel.
At one point, well, diesel, yeah, but I mean diesel. This is going to vanish in the next few years anyway. But the hybrid 1.3 or 1.5 just is like 30, 40. Yeah, it's just double. So it's just no. But the problem with the hybrids is eventually you're going to have to buy a new battery. So all that money you've saved on petrol/gas, depending what country terminology you want to use, is going to vanish when you have to buy a new hybrid battery. But they assume that in 10 years you're going to buy a new car anyway, being Japan. So,
Beached wheel, yes.
What's the keyboard on my desk? Vortex. It was on Mastro. Vortex? Is it Race 3? I forget. It's a Vortex keyboard. My first mechanical keyboard. So I forgot what size you called it. Anyway, it's a mechanical keyboard. So I can hold it up. I think without breaking anything. There we go. You guys don't know what size it is. I wanted a mechanical keyboard and I wanted a smallish one because I never have enough room on my desk. Although I do now. I've cleared up my desk. And I wanted a separate numerical keypad. But and I use the speed keys, so the ones which have like 45 grams of force or whatever needed to activate them, because I'm used to like laptop keyboards. So 75% size. It might be 70. It says 75 or 80%. I forget. It's got like a row of delete, home, page up, page down, end, and there are the keys. Actually, there's a funny story. Way back in the early 90s, I actually had a non-working mechanical keyboard because there's nothing to connect it to, but I actually was interested in mechanical keyboard, and I had one with magnetic reed switches, which was pulled out of an old computer. And I wanted to actually rebuild it into a real working keyboard because the keys were lovely. But back at the time, I had no idea. I just disassembled the entire thing, and of course, the electronics wouldn't be compatible. It had I desoldered all the reed switches, and I hope in the future that somehow I could use it, but I eventually chucked it out. Now, I regret not being fanatical maniac, stupid maniac, and keeping it, because I could have actually had a board built around it. It would have worked, and which is really, really sad, because it was a lovely keyboard, proper reed switch keyboard, which you just cannot get nowadays. I don't think anyone makes reed switch keyboards. They were a little. Imagine the circuit board had little reed switches sticking up, and they're all round things on a little board with 3 pins. I think it was 2 or 3 pins, and they'd stick up like those resistors on Total DACs. And then the key came down, had little magnetic keywords to slide down on. It was on a spring, and had a little magnet which would go over there and activate the key. And I really regret not having it anymore. And I never thought I'd ever be able to rebuild it, so obviously just gave up and chucked it. And which is just really, really sad, because back in the old days when people made things to last and all that. So without the number pad, yes, no, I need a number pad. I have a number pad. The last number pad I had, I have a Bluetooth number pad, and I've chucked it in the bin. I was so pissed off with it. The one time it mattered most, I was on one of those calling a company to tech support, and it was like 2 minutes before their tech support closed, or 2 minutes before their phone support closed, and I hit a key, and instead of setting like the 5 key once, it said like 50 times, and it's like, oh shit, I got to dial again, and I was so pissed off then. Always breaks at the worst time, so I got to get a proper USB numerical keypad or something that's reliable. But anyway, that's just me. Yeah, I'm actually into mechanical keyboards are entirely my thing, and I should not ever get into them, as I'll end up spending too much money on them. But otherwise, that's it. Nathan, what are you wearing? Are you wearing Grados now? Should we make you big again?
I'm wearing Grados. I'm wearing Grados with the... Check this out.
We'll make you big again.
Magnetic, Merino, wool headband replacement. Not replacement, I just put it over, so I don't have to take off. I don't have to modify the Grado in any way. These are great. Super comfy. So if you like Grados, but you find the headband to be a little bit uncomfortable after, let's say, a couple of, depends on the Grado, like 20 minutes or an hour or so. These ones I've been able to use for about 3 hours all at once. And these pads here are also Merino pads. There's also there's a sheepskin pad, and there's several other ones. You can change the padding on the inside. The brand I think is called Sivania. They're from I wrote an article on Headphonia about it. Let me check it. I'll put the link in here, because these are great. They change the sound quite a bit though. These ones, the headphones I have are the GH2 limited edition for Japan with the Kokobolo cups. I like them. With these pads, the highs are a little bit more muted. I would say it's kind of like having a HD 600, except with the Grado closeness. So if you like that sort of thing, and I certainly do. But if you put on the foam pads, or the other velour pads, or the leather pads, that sound really changes. The leather ones turned it into something like a HD 600, and perhaps even a little bit darker than that, or smoother than that. So a whole bunch of different customization options that you can do with this company. Now I'm just going to check the name of the company, because I don't want to... where is it? I'm not used to doing this online and like live, so this is totally difficult for me to like say be in time with. And just a moment. GH2. I'm on Headphonia right now looking this up. How do you do this? There's a picture Sunday. Ah, here we are. I'll just send a link to the chat. Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it. This page, it'll come up in the comments later on.
Oh, the brand. I'm sorry. The company is called Sylvian Grado Pads, and the company is also it's called Beautiful Audio.
I can actually put up a website overlay, which will work. You post it in the chat, the link in the chat.
No, and, let me. It says remove any web addresses and try again.
No, because you're not special. Give me a sec.
I'm not special. I'm Photographer
Lounge. Yeah, I think. here we go. Now you should be able to, you're now a moderator. You're now special. You now get a fancy
There we are.
crown next to your name.
That's the article I did on Edphonia, and I'll send the link to the company as well here. Just want to make sure it works first. Beautifulaudio.biz. Okay, yeah. Really cool mods they got here. Here we are. This is the company. They're called Beautiful Audio. So, yeah. I love Grados. I'm not a big Grado guy, but I really love Grados. So.
Well, that's kind of, well, I mean, that's what, I didn't like Grados when I first tried them. It was the HP1 had a real synergy with my system, and I borrowed a pair from a friend. So that's when I got kind of interested in Grados, and then, of course, the HP1, what Ryden was doing anyway, so which is why I ended up with these. Though he has new drivers now, and I was thinking, tempting to get some, but I don't have any use for these. These I just use for monitoring now, checking with the cameras, because this is just an old cable that was on other headphones, and it's got a tail system, so you can, I don't know if people can see that there's a plug, and then I have a tail. This is a balanced tail, and I have single-ended tails, which I can hold up in front of the camera. There's the one that was actually used for monitoring the camera, and so I have that system, and I just end up putting them on the magnums, as they're called. And you know, I've got no, I don't have other system ones. I just have things like 2.5mm with adapters. So I have 2.5mm plug. There we go, in front of the Sony, and then funky adapter, and then another funky adapter. There's another 2.5mm adapter hidden inside a plug, and that's just easier than using all these big long tails. But there's another one. There's another tail actually on another cable which I had before that. So, and then what I actually want to do is get everything terminated in 4.4mm and then have 4.4mm sockets instead as the tail. So instead of using the idea was to initially use 4-pin mini XLR, which is kind of pointless because you can't plug it directly into anything. So I switched to 2.5mm for another cable set, which is not here anymore. And then that was kind of didn't connect really well. So, and that's why I had all the plugs made. And now I thought, well, why not use 4.4mm as the standard one, so that if you plug into portable gear, you have, say, a 4-foot cable, and then you can have like a 2-foot. These are supposed to be 2-foot tails. So, but have 2-foot tails, but use Pentacon 4.4mm sockets if they exist, which I don't know if they do yet. I think they do, and use that for, you know, headphone systems. So. But I have some funny stories about that. That first time we went to, was it first or second time we went to the headphone show, I had all the tails in my pockets of my shorts, and I had one of these pairs of headphones, and so the guy who made the Sony PH 1, 2, and 3, the amps, was this old guy, and the guy who designed them, and he goes, oh, why don't you have a listen to this? So he saw I had headphones on. I said, yep, just a minute, I'll just pull out my adapter, and I pulled out this, you know, imagine me pulling this out of my pocket, and he's like, what? He was just shocked. He has never said anything like it. So I plugged that in and had a listen, and it was, I may have been actually this adapter even. That was pretty funny. That surprised these guys with the stuff we have. So, but that was before, you know, they got used to all the weird, those guys had known me at the show, you know, a few years, so I think they weren't used to our weirdness yet. So, no more questions. We have 21 people watching and no questions. And this is the YouTube bugging me about bad video settings, even though everyone seems to be able to watch this fine. So I don't know. Are we gonna call it a day if we've got no more questions? It's lunchtime, and it's 29 degrees in here due to all the amps and the fact that it's 29 degrees outside as well. So
you don't have air conditioning in there.
No, you just hear all the time, and I don't think you.
Do you hear it in mine? Because I have it on. Do you hear it?
No. You're using a different mic. Mine, I think, will pick it up because it's pointing directly in the direction. The aircon is above my head, so I haven't turned it on yet.
Shirt. Put the microphone up your shirt.
Yeah, well, no, that microphone buzzes.
Got a question here. From Jimmy. Jimmy F1312. How tall are you? 5'8",
I think 173-ish.
Oh, we got loads of questions here, man. Okay, I'm 183 centimeters. In American, that's like 6'1", I think.
That's right. You're taller than me. That's right. You're a tall, skinny dude. I'm a very average dude. What's your now the stupid question? Sorry, guys. This funny questions come in. What's your favorite food? Fruit.
That's a hard
fruit. Literally fruit.
Every time I see him, he's always sucking on a grape. It takes him like 5 hours. He peels every little section, and then he just kind of nibbles it, and then he sucks the juice. He's like He's like a big hamster. Like, you know how hamsters like, well, he's like a normal human-sized hamster, but he like this, and he's just sucking on a grape.
Guys, this is Nathan. I'd like to introduce you to Nathan. He's even better after drinking.
I haven't.
So, what was the other thing? Actually, no, in Japan, you have these grapes you get, which are like huge, huge dark grapes. You actually have to either peel them, or you can only suck the center out.
No.
You can't eat the whole grape, otherwise you'll be chewing for hours. People will actually do that. They'll literally, I kid you not, Japanese people will peel these grapes. Now they
peel like even the regular like Costco American style grape. I've seen them peel that. But no, I love those big ones with the thick skin. I love eating the skin.
I bite the end off and suck the center out. Anyway, there we go.
That's what she said. Oh, boom!
What can we say?
There's no...
Moving on. Are Andromedas compatible in SQ to full-size cans? Yeah, actually someone...
What's your favorite color?
Okay, full-size cans are always going to do better because they're full-size cans. You have your whole ear interacting. Well, but I mean, in terms of like how much detail you can retrieve, well, you have some advantages there. You can retrieve a lot of detail because they're very sensitive, but they also pick up a lot of hiss. So, but I mean, I think full-size cans are still going to give you a better sense of space anyway. So you can't really compare IEMs and full-sized headphones. So in that regard, Eon flows, I don't know, that'd be a good question. I never compared directly to try to see how much detail I could hear out of either. But there's also the factor that they might have the frequency response. Well, they both are tunable too. It'd be interesting to try, like compare it SQ. I'll keep it in mind for the future. Heard Andromedas today at the Michigan headphone meet, and I think they could be. They are pretty detailed. I mean, you can get a fair bit of detail, but it depends what incomparable in sound quality. What do you mean by sound quality? Like I had the new Atlas here, and you know you could get a really sense of space and a really excellent sound out of them. But when you had really compressed music, it kind of sounded very, very, you know, kind of closed in. But I guess to a degree with all headphones you get that. But maybe, you know, it's not a simple thing. What do you reckon, Nathan?
Sorry, I tried to like interject my opinion there.
Go for it.
I would say that it's kind of like IEMs are to headphones as headphones are to speakers. Like, if you listen to a good speaker, let's say if you could get equal quality of the speaker and the headphone and the IEM, when you get the speaker, you get not only what comes to your ears, but you kind of get the feel on your skin and other things, and you get also a better sense of space because you're farther removed from the actual sound, where the sound is emanating from. And when you get IEMs, the sound is going straight to your earphone, or say to your eardrum, and you do get a little bit of a canal interaction, but you don't get sort of the interaction with the outer ear, and you get for sure less sense of space. And even if the Andromedas are detailed and they're great, I love those things, and they sound very good. But at every opportunity, if I had to choose in terms of just the overall experience of being enveloped in the sound, it would be with the headphone of a certain quality versus an IEM of any quality. And if it came to that, speakers over headphones for sure. I don't know what you think. Anyways.
LCD-I4. No, I agree. Basically, you said in a more complex way than what I said. I'm just watching the LCD-I4. I'm going to try those. I still really want to try the high-end.
They're all right.
And yeah.
Pretty good.
Someone was asking, we were having a discussion on HeadFi about he couldn't make out more detail from the Hugo 2 than the Mojo, which was interesting because in most situations you cannot make out more detail. It's actually the Hugo 2 is so detailed that basically if you put anything else in between it and your headphones, and then you have to have probably maybe even at least Utopias, which I have here to get the most out of them, you can't actually make out a great deal more detail. It's there, but everything else, another amp, the transducers are just not going to be good enough to make out the level of detail. So there was a discussion that came up about whether it's worth buying such and such gear. And it's the same here. I have the Hugo 2 and the IDSD. And using this amp, which is not the most detailed amp, it's an excellent amp, but not the most detailed, I can A/B between them and it can make out almost no difference. The level matched. I don't think I passed a test on it. But, I mean, maybe the headphone out circuits might be different. So I think if I plugged Utopias into both of them directly, then I really pick out the best music, I could probably make out a difference. But it's one of those things. And it's, when you get into high-end digital, there's kind of a hard limit at some point. but it's getting better than the. It's now where you can. I used to say you can never have good enough DAC for using with the Stax system. It's kind of like now the DACs are better. You can never have good enough headphones for the DACs you can buy now. That's just crazy. But with IEMs, yeah, it's not going to compete with full-sized headphones. I just don't think. I'd like to try the Odyssey ones though, and there's another one someone asked me to try as well, which I want to have a go with. But I just don't think they're going to beat full-sized headphones still. Do DAC chips matter in Chord DACs? It's not a DAC chip. The Chord DACs use what's called a field programmable gate array, which is more or less. Imagine a computer, just like it's hard to explain what they are. They're kind of programmable computer circuits. Normally in a computer you have like a CPU, but you can't store the programming on it. It's kind of like they use a whole bunch of things called gates. It's beyond my technical understanding in detail, but you can program. You can normal computers work like you have a program stored and then you send it to the CPU in a program in a particular form, and then it processes that and sends it out in order. An FPGA, you can actually, it's like, imagine a kind of grid of like mini computers almost, or mini computing circuits, and you can isolate off those and have bunches of the compute different things at different times. So you can have like one bunch handles your user interface for your, like where you press a button and it changes the LED color and activates a certain other thing. And then, it can create a kind of grid, like a kind of computer circuit internally, programmed computer circuit, where you have different things computing different stuff. And it's not like a regular computer in that sense. So what they're used in heaps of applications. You can program them with stuff to drive run a car, basically drive a car or what have you. You could run them to do anything. You can put them in maybe make anything basically. It just depends what you're capable of programming into them and how good your programming skills are. So, but what Rob Watts does is he programs them with digital filters and the user interface for the Chord DACs and what have you, and all that stuff. And so it's not a DAC as such. It's like I could say it's a software DAC in a sense. So does it matter which one he's using? No, because only in the sense that he can't put an M scaler inside the Chord Dave because it uses a huge amount of computing resources and power. So that's why there's an M scaler separate. There's only the physical limits of how much programming he can stick on there. So in the original Hugo, he had a choice between being able to save the state, save the volume level and other stuff, or have better sound quality, and he chose better sound quality. So he actually had to sacrifice a bit of functionality to get the better sound quality. But now he's using newer ones; it's not an issue. So there's the answer to that. You have a question, Drunk Saru. Would like to know about about Canon. So
I'll answer that. Just before that, this bad boy here is this is a balance modified Mojo. So this one here is a 2.5, and it's a Mojo. I had a friend modify this for me. It's pretty cool. I love Mojo. That's just my opinion on that. I don't know anything about field programmable gate associations. But the Canon thing, well, I don't think anyone's buying Canon's cameras or film cameras anymore. So it'd be very hard for them to keep making them if no one's buying them. And it's very hard for them to keep servicing them. If let's say there's 20 pros in Japan, a country of 130 million people that are still using Canon film cameras, and of those 20 pros, probably not all of them are using the same camera. And even if they were, that's just not enough people to keep producing all the parts and everything that you need to support that market. So I think it's sad for film users. I haven't really used film since 2012 or 13, perhaps. And I shoot sometimes. I keep I shoot my screenshots always with my film. Oh, shot! I got the lens cap. Oh my God, this is going to be a great. No, there's no film in here. But like film, there's definitely an excited bunch of people that are using it still, but it's just not enough, especially in the high end. unless you're charging $6,000, $7,000 for a camera like an Arca Swiss R or Leinhof or something like that, it's really hard to support that market because you just don't have the profits for it, and you have to spread those profits along with the revenue of your entire company, and then by the time you've done that, there's really not much left for that department. So it's kind of sad because that's a damn awesome camera. The one that what is it? The whatever Canon's top film one is freaking amazing. But no, I don't think anyone's using it anymore. So
okay,
that's what I have to say.
Fair enough. Now the last question, and before I'm getting hungry actually, so I'm
me
gonna
too.
go. Anyway,
You guys want to see my bill?
No. Yeah, I bought an NFB1 amp compared to my shit liar. It sounds lean and lacking in bass, but is far more resolving. Yeah, the NFB1 will be more accurate. I mean, it's designed to be more accurate. So Kingwa tuned stuff to be dead neutral, which can be kind of boring. And yeah, a lot of tube amps are tuned to be slightly warm and euphoric, which can sound nicer. So that's probably, pretty much how it is. So not a big surprise there. You can make it a little bit more excited sounding there's a mod you can do the NFB1 amp, which I've done. There are these Muses op amps you can buy. I forgot, is it 8920? I forget. I'd have to get the exact number. I think it's 8920. And what they use is there are op amps used in there not for amplification but for DC offset. Now, if you don't worry about how audio circuits work. What happens is there's various ways to stop raw DC going to your headphones, which is very bad for your headphones. And one of them is some circuits use, they might have a transformer or capacitors, coupling capacitors or something like that to isolate the output, and other circuits will use what's called circuits for op amps for DC offset, which will stop DC going out to your headphones, and that's what they're used for. So you use 2134s, which are your standard crappy standard basic op amp. I mean, they shouldn't affect the sound, but they seem to, which one of those things that and so what you can do is it's a bit fiddly, but you have to unscrew the little relay boards, and then you have to, because of extra capacitors, it's very fiddly to pull them out. You pull out the 2134s and put in the 8920s, and the sound ends up a little bit more dynamic sounding. And I don't know why this is specifically. It's one of those weird things to do with circuits that's beyond my knowledge, but it can make it sound a little bit more dynamic by doing that if you don't mind the fiddliness of pulling out op amps and putting in new ones, and you don't break anything. So there's an answer to that. Who would win hand-to-hand Mortal Kombat? With a look like that, I think Nathan would win. And with that, I think it's time for lunch. So
Amos is trained at hand-to-hand, and I'm trained at foot to pavement running away, and I think I'm faster than him because I'm young. How much younger am I than you?
I don't know.
2 months?
No,
I'm 2 months younger than
something like that.
Image.
And I've got grey
He would
hair.
kill me, though. If he caught me, he would kill me. There'd be no chance.
Something like that. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching our entertaining hour and a half or 2 hours of talking crap, including half an hour of screwing up. I'm going to edit this video before I put it up. I'm not going to put up the raw thing with 30 minutes of me screwing up the audio. Me completely.
Amos, I got to say thank you to you. Thank you very much for inviting me on. We've been trying to do this for some months, I think.
Some years, I think.
Some years. I finally got a YouTube channel set up, and
yep.
I think that's one of the things that's nice now. I understand that I can actually put a face in front of a camera. So thank you for inviting me on your channel. It's wonderful.
Thank you for joining in, and yeah, thank you for flattening a couple of my batteries today. So I enjoyed that. So until the next whiskey adventure, thank you all, everyone, for joining us, and see you guys in the future.
Ta-ta. It was wonderful. Thank you, guys.